Welcome back to Relax Radio with me, Nick. Keeping you guys entertained all the way until 4 p.m. And yeah, we are talking about a lot of stuff earlier about how that the everyone was marking the anniversary of the coronavirus, but we are also there's some other things happening right now in in the UK. In case you guys didn't know, there was 6 boats with 183 migrants on board, and it reached the UK after crossing the English Channel on Tuesday. So yeah, the figure is the highest daily number so far this year, and it's just under the total in the whole of March 2020 when 187 people made the crossing. So yeah, right now the UK is trying to get all of these asylum seekers and send them abroad, send them elsewhere, and not enter into the country. So yeah, the French authorities, stopped about 50 people from attempting the crossing. And this was all said by a Home Office spokesperson. So, yeah, the government is planning to make it more difficult for asylum seekers to stay in the UK if they come in illegally. So, about 850 people have made the crossing so far this year, and compared to 338, back in 2020. So, yeah, more than 8,400 plus people crossed the English Channel in about 635 boats in 2020. Yeah, that is just crazy stuff. That's a lot of people coming into the country illegally. So, under the new plans being set out by the government, people seeking protection as refugees will have their claim assessed based on how they arrived in the UK. So, there are, under the plans, people who enter the UK illegally to claims asylum will no longer have the same entitlements as those who arrive legally. So yeah, Home Secretary Preeti Patel says that the new system will be fairer and will crack down on criminal gangs. So yeah, campaigners say that the proposal would create an unfair system and would not address people being smuggled into the country. So yeah, this is all, Preeti Patel was talking about this. The Home Secretary has set out what she called a fair but firm overhaul to what the way people applying for asylum in the UK, the ways they are being treated in the country. So yeah, she said for the first time, Preeti Patel was saying like people seeking protection as refugees would have their claims assessed based on how they arrived into the UK. She said ministers would crack down on people smugglers because enough is enough already. I mean, she does make a point. Labour said that the plans lacked compassion and competence. And under the changes, people who arrive in the UK by what the government call illegal means to claim asylum will no longer have the same entitlements as those who arrived through the proper channels. So yeah, the people who arrive into the country legally, that is in a legal way, they are going to be assessed as asylum seekers compared to the people who come into the country illegally. So the plan is to basically ship these people off to some other country, some other place, not the UK. So yeah, that's what they're trying to do, and they're setting out the plans to the MPs. Ms. Patel said that the government had promised to take back control of asylum and immigration and would introduce a faster, fairer system that would be better supporting the most vulnerable people. So yeah, Ms. Patel also said serious organized criminal gangs were exploiting people and said it was these same gangs who were also involved in serious violent crimes in the UK, such as trafficking guns and drugs. So yeah, the families, young children have lost their lives at sea. It's unfortunate. And in lorries and in shipping containers, having put their trust in the hands of these criminals. And the way to stop these deaths is to stop the trade in people that causes them. So yeah, this is what she's talking about. And she says, these new measures will create safe and legal routes, and that people should be claiming asylum in the EU country in which they first arrive rather than using it as a springboard to reach the UK. So that is, in a way, that is fair as well. She's straight up pointing out that, hey, people who do come into the EU, especially who are seeking asylum, should stay into the country that they first arrived in, and that's not the UK. It should be the country that they first arrive in. And so, yeah, if you illegally enter the UK via a safe country in which you could have claimed asylum, you're not seeking refuge from imminent peril, as is the intended purpose of the asylum system, but are picking the UK as a preferred destination over the others. And she added, that we have generous asylum systems in the country that offer protection to the most vulnerable, via defend legal routes. But this system is collapsing and under the pressures of what are in effect parallel illegal routes to asylum, facilitated by criminals smuggling people into the UK. And she said that the system is currently clogged up with all these bogus claims, and legal wrangles. And the human rights lawyers have warned, though, that the plans are unlawful because they ignore Britain's international obligation under the Refuge Convention. So, yeah, the Labour said that the proposal would do next to nothing to stop people making dangerous crossings or to deal with criminal gangs. So, yeah, last year, almost like 30,000 people have, wanted refuge and so, sought asylum in the UK, and more than 8,000 of them have crossed the English channels in small boats with the help of people smugglers. So yeah, they're smuggled into the country, and the Home Office says the system is collapsing, under the weight of all these illegal entries. But the current rate of arrivals to the UK is a third of the all-time record, and will be below the numbers in some EU neighbors. So yeah, at the same time, the backlogs of people waiting for a decision on their application had risen to 8 times higher than a decade ago, even before the pandemic made worse matters. The matters became worse even before the pandemic. The people, it's been at a steady decrease. So it's just risen. Though I'm sorry, my bad. It's risen to 8 times what it was initially. So yeah, those figures that led critics to say the real problem is years of mismanagement. That's what critics are saying. It's not really all about this. It's mostly to do with mismanagement of the country. Yeah, so that's what they're trying to talk about. And critics are always going to say what they want to say. They always have their point of view. And the UK wants to send these people, these asylum seekers back to the other countries. It can only do so with the country's agreements. So they can't just force them. Like if a person comes in from Germany, obviously they can't, chase them away. Like if they come in from Germany and they come then from Germany, they travel to the UK. It's obvious, the UK will have to discuss with the German government to keep these people in Germany. So that's just an example of how they would approach this this new system. That's how they would approach these new asylum seekers. So yeah, as part of the Brexit deal, though, it chose to leave the continent-wide scheme that made returns to France and elsewhere possible. However, it's not clear if and when it will reach a new agreement with Brussels. So yeah, this is something that in case you guys are wondering, the EU and the UK have had tensions rising, especially with the AstraZeneca vaccine and all of that, and the possible restrictions rather on the vaccine exportation to the UK. And the EU has been pushing the UK a lot on that matter. So yeah, there's a lot going on right now, and it's because of this. There's gonna be some disagreements between countries, and it's all because of, especially after the post Brexit situation. So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate though. A lot of these new people, a lot of these immigrants, illegal immigrants that are coming into the country, are seeking refuge, but it kind of shows that they're seeking luxury over refuge in the opinion. So what I'm reading here is that's what it is. And yeah, I mean, they're coming to UK, especially like they're pointing it out as a country. We're going to come here. This is where we're going to land. This is where we're going to go. This is the final destination. And that is what they're doing. And I think the government trying to combat that. I mean, if you enter into the country through legal channels, that is totally fine. But coming in illegally, I get it. They're coming back from countries that are war-torn countries that they're where they're facing a lot of backlash. They're facing racism and all of that, and they're coming into the UK. It's totally understandable what these people are doing from their side and their point of perspective and vantage point as well. So yeah, that is something that is going on right now. So yeah, that's just really unfortunate on how they are assessing. And there's a lot of methods you could come. So what happens when someone wants to claim asylum in the UK? Well, it's simple. To be eligible, the person must have left their country or be unable to return because of fear of persecution. So yeah, children are also allowed to apply on their own if they don't have family members or carers with them. And after applying for asylum, people have a meeting with an immigration officer known as a screening. So yeah, if the government discovers any of the information on the claim is false, the person applying can get up to 2 years in prison or be forced to leave the UK. So after the screening, the Home Office decides if the asylum they claim for can be considered. And if the department deems the application to not be eligible, the asylum seeker can either be returned to their country or to a safe country, either one they have traveled through to get to the UK or one they have connection with already. And post Brexit, the UK is no longer part of the EU's Dublin Convention, which aims to ensure states shoulders a fair responsibility of taking in asylum seekers. And the UK no longer has deals with the bloc to return those who have traveled through the EU to reach the UK. So yeah, if applications is approved, people or families are given permission to stay in the UK for 5 years, known as a leave to remain. And after that runs out, they can either apply to settle in the UK. But if it's not approved, asylum seekers will be told to leave the UK, although there is an option to appeal. And if they fail to leave, they can be detained and or removed. So these are the requirements for someone to seek asylum in the UK. So in case you know this is if this applies to you, you know what you have to do to seek asylum in the UK. And with that being said, though, we are gonna step into some more great music. And up next, we got something by Marshmello and Demi Lovato, and this one's called "Okay Not to Be Okay."